Hello everybody, RebelDustyPinky here. We are going to be going through some questions. We are going to be doing a new segment starting today. We're going to be doing once a month. We're going to be taking some Patreon questions. So if you are a Patreon of the middle finger or higher, that is our mid tier. We go by fingers because I'm a pinky. Makes sense, right? Right. So if you are a middle finger or higher, one of your perks is you get to ask a question on our threads on Patreon, and I will answer them live on a video every month. So let's jump to it. Our first question comes from Army Combat Medic, our good friend. What was the catalyst that made you decide to become a streamer? Well, honestly, I did it just to get laid, make a lot of money. No. None of those things happen. So actually, I became a streamer by accident. I actually was in the process of quitting a game that I was playing, and I was giving away all my stuff, my in-game content. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just start a stream on Mixer, and I'm just gonna give away my stuff. So I literally started up a stream and I just started giving away my my items in the game, and a lot of people were like, "Wow, this is really cool of you. Like, hey, you got a pretty cool personality. You should consider becoming a streamer." And I was like, "No, that's silly. I could never become a streamer. That would just be ridiculous." I'm a full-time content creator. So originally, streaming started out as just a fluke. It was just something that I was doing just to get rid of my stuff because I didn't want all my in-game content on this particular game to go to waste. So I wanted to give away my stuff, and that's how I started streaming. And then it became a hobby, and then eventually I saw growth and I saw potential, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I met a lot of really awesome people, and I eventually became a full-time content creator, and I don't regret it at all. It's funny how things work out like that, where it starts off as a joke and just a little thing, and then bam, it changes your whole life. It's wild. Our second question comes from our buddy Cystic, and this question is honestly really deep. I didn't think anybody was gonna ask me really hard questions like this. That was like really deep and has a lot of meaning behind it. So like, I really do appreciate this question. His question is ass ? With 3 S's. And I would like to start out by saying I prefer my asses with 2 S's, if that is the question. I'm really trying to get on a philosophical level on this question. I'm really trying to dig deep and figure out the meaning behind it. If you're asking if I'm more of a ass man, I actually am more of an ass man over, like, say, if you were to ask the question like ass or boob man, I would say ass. I mean, personality comes first, absolutely, but ass is a close second. Yes. Ass. Our third question comes from our buddy Kefka. Sir Kefka, to be precise. He's actually a knight. Which Warframe best represents Pinky? Okay, so there's two. Okay, so if we're talking about my gaming life, I would say Necros, because Necros, I'm all about that loot. When it comes to games, I want that loot. I'm trying to get that loot. Necros makes more loot. I love the loot. So if we're talking about the gaming side of me, I would say Necros best represents me. If we're talking about mentally, then this one's going to sound a little weird, but I would say Wukong, because I've always been like my own best friend. So Wukong has like that, he can make like a separate image of himself, another clone, and he always has his back. And that's kind of always been me. Like, I often talk to myself when I'm working on things, and I've always been very supportive of myself and very trying to push myself to new limits. And I feel like Wukong best represents me in a mental standpoint. But if you're talking about my gaming, then definitely Necros. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Our next question comes from our buddy Season. What's up, there, boy? Cezanne asks, my question is, why do I only get one question? Now, when I made the post on Patreon, I said everybody could only have one question, but the only reason you're getting one question is because you only asked one question, and somebody actually did ask two questions. So just to make this joke after this question, I'm going to answer somebody else's second question. Get some Cezanne. So our second question from Sir Kepka is, just throwing another one out there, if you could pick any job and spend your life doing it, what would it be? As a young lad, when I thought that I invented masturbation, I wanted to get into porn, but I figured out that they have very, you say, long and hard hours? And I realized that really didn't work well for me because I also have a small penis, and you know, that's another subject though. So that wasn't really the business for me. I've always been really into content creation. So I did YouTube a long time ago on a different channel, probably about 10 years ago, possibly. I had another channel. You will never know the name of my other channel. I had another channel, and I used to do content creation on there, and I really enjoyed it, but I got offered a really good job at the time, and I chose to go down the responsible path instead of the enjoyable path, because I actually was picking up traction on my content creation account on YouTube, but I wanted to go down the more responsible route, and I took a really good job at the time. And unfortunately, I couldn't do both. The amount of hours that they were asking of me was just too much. So I had to choose between content creation and work and a stable living. So I chose a stable living because I enjoy eating food a lot. So that job paid me, and I was able to buy food with it. So yeah. But I've always had a hunger for content creation. So honestly, I wouldn't mind doing streaming and making content for a living. I really do enjoy doing this, and I've enjoyed doing this for a long time. Because I did do it at one point on only YouTube, and now that I've begun streaming full time and also making other content on other platforms, it really lets me explore my different imagination avenues that I have, and I really just enjoy it. It really just brings me a lot of joy. I love what I do. I can make somewhat of money with it, and I really enjoy this. I like it. I could see myself being a content creator for a very long time. Our last question for this month comes from Wet Frame. Where do you see yourself in 10 years in detail? Honestly, I don't know if I can give you in great detail, because my way of living, I've always kind of gone with the flow and gone with, what works best for the moment and what I see that looks good for the future, because I don't like to try and control the future. The future is going to make its own moves, and you kind of just have to adjust to make it work for you. I do see myself continuing to do content creation. I see myself losing my hair and being bald. And I don't know if I see myself like settling down or getting married and all that, because that's always been something I've been up in the air about, as far as like, do I want to settle down and have kids? I could be happy either way. I could be happy being a single man, just working and, living life to the fullest. But I could also see myself being a family man. I really could, but I honestly don't know. I'm just gonna have to wait and see what the future has in store for me, and make the best decisions based on what life throws at me. So I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry I can't really give you in full detail. That's the best I can do. Appreciate you, Wet Frame. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed all of this segment and all the questions that were asked. If you are a Patreon tier of middle finger or higher, or planning to become that Patreon tier, start thinking of some new questions, because I'm going to be making a post on Patreon very soon so that you can start asking those questions so that I can answer those questions during next month's segment. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to become a Patreon and get all of the benefits, all the sweet benefits, go to patreon.com/RebelDustyPinky. Thank you so much for your support. I never expect donations or subs, but if you become one, that is awesome and great, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for your support. Here's all those beautiful people of the hour. Thank you so much for being a Patreon sub. Like I said, if you would like to see your name on the end of every single one of our Twitch streams or major YouTube production, go to patreon.com/RebelDustyPinky. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.